So before we get into this video, I wanted to quickly point something out, and that's the fact that we were really consistent with 240 videos, and then it hit a brick wall. And you guys didn't hear anything about the car on YouTube. It just vanished from existence. And here's the deal. I actually had a second fire with the vehicle. So the first fire, I was recording when that happened. Very minor. It was inside the quarter panel. So this time was a much bigger deal. Basically what happened, I was welding in the mini tubs. This is right where the video cut short. So it just cut short, and then I did a little voiceover and we ended the video. Well, what happened is I was welding in the tub, and keep in mind this is on the fuel filler side, so I was already extremely careful. I had welding blankets wherever I could, but sparks basically ignited some insulation inside the vehicle, therefore catching the interior on fire. So the fire spread quickly. It burnt my back seat. It burnt a bunch of plastic trim, whole garage full of smoke. And this is also, like, I lived in a suburb at the time. I've moved since, but like, it was crazy, dude. My garage was just pouring out smoke, very stressful. So I used the fire extinguisher that I had because I knew it was next to fuel. I was very careful about that, as I said. I used the fire extinguisher, emptied the entire thing, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of screwed. The car is still on fire. So, like, my parents were asleep, I had no help, right? So I go and, like, bang on the wall to try and get some help, and then I run back, I get the hose, I just start spraying the inside of my car, like, open the door, the passenger side where the fuel filler is was locked, so I ran around the car with the hose inside my garage and just lathered the bad boy up with some water. So, this entire car was soaked. There was, like, standing water on the carpet. Seats were completely soaked. Back seat was burnt up and completely soaked. So basically, the whole interior was trashed, right? Most of the panels and stuff were recoverable, but the thing is there was water everywhere, water, mold. It's already humid in Texas, and yada yada. Like, that's just not, I'm not gonna let that happen. So I actually took about 2-3 weeks, pulled every single interior panel out of the car. Okay, dashboard came out, seats came out, carpet came out, clusters, everything, dude. Like, wiring. At one point there was a sound system in the car, so, you know, I like ripped out all that wiring. Basically everything from windshield to windshield was out of the car. Everything. This experience was definitely eye-opening, and I don't want to make this video about the fire, but that's just an incident I ran into, and it kind of instilled this fear in me of working on the car and doing hazardous things like this, because if this was a stock vehicle, that fire would not have happened. That fire is due to a previous owner's decision to modify the vehicle in the way he did. He used spray foam, and I thought I got it all out. I knew that stuff was flammable, but that is what actually spread the fire into the cabin. You don't know what the previous owner of your vehicle did, so when you're doing this stuff, just be careful, be cautious, and stay safe. That fire was actually back in, like, April, May, I believe. We're now in October, so this year is absolutely flying by. Yeah, okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Into the video. Whoop.
I think this bad man pajama wants some mosquito filler. Just pop that bad boy. Hell yeah, buddy. No brake boosting. Oh!
Oh, we got some seepage. I just screamed that when the door was open. That's Okay, so I already know what everybody's thinking. Why? Where you at, buddy? That big, long... That's awkward. Okay, so while this guy reverses 50 times to try and find his parking spot, I know what you guys are thinking. This is not panel bond. You're actually about to slap this on your car. Well, first off, it says heavy duty, and we are technically constructing something, so it's gonna work. Maybe. In all seriousness, though, it does say it's safe for fiberglass. Focus. It's focus. It's safe focus. It says it's safe for fiberglass and metal, which is what we are conducting adhesion between. I also picked up the thickest rivets I could possibly find. So hopefully we won't need the adhesive, but we're gonna put the adhesive on there as a secondary chemical connection instead of just the mechanical connection. Okay, it's hurricane season and I gotta get home. I'm sorry, I would like pan the camera to show this lady's Karen haircut, but it's pretty disgusting. I'm getting boxed in. I'm really claustrophobic. La-di-day, la-di-doo. Wet. I don't think I've ever actually shown this car moving on YouTube. Very interesting. Very hot. Okay. I'm nervous. Okay, we're good. The key is out, by the way. Oh, come on, bud. So you can see I actually welded some of these shuts. There were holes all along here. I did such a good job. That's no Bondo, baby. Just a little bit of weld, a little bit of grinder action. You can't even tell. Look, there's one there, here. Well, anywhere you see paint, basically, or not paint. So I'm actually gonna have to drill some of these back out. We're gonna mock up the kit using some rivets, but I'm not actually using rivets because it's paint to drill them out. We're gonna mock it up. We're going to get this sanded down, ready for the adhesion material, and then we're gonna bond it together. We've got a whole bunch of kitty hair, which is fiberglass reinforced body filler. Gonna mold it all in, make it nice and sexy. So to get started with the molding process, I just wanted to quickly throw this out there. This kit came with the vehicle. Okay, so when I first posted the car on Instagram, when I purchased it, basically the car had been in an accident. It was hitting the rear quarter. So he did, you know, honestly something pretty logical rather than taking it to a shop and having it fixed the right way and mold in a new panel and whatnot. He just threw a wide body kit on. That's fine. I love the idea of molding a kit onto the car. That's why I wanted to do it. It's a great learning experience, all that. But here's the thing. I would not do this again with a 35mm kit. Keep in mind, 25mm is about an inch if I'm doing my calculations correctly. So this is like a little over an inch wider, okay? For 35mm, it's not worth it. If I had a 55mm kit, which I originally thought this was wider, I've since learned a lot about the car since purchasing it. Obviously, that's kind of how this goes. But I have learned so much, and I would not do this with a 35mm kit. If 35mm is wide to your car, whatever you're driving, like a Mini Cooper or something, you know, go ahead and mold that bad boy. But for 35mm on a 240, I would not do it. 55mm Origin Lab rears, that's all cool. Which, by the way, guys, if you recognize this stamp, please let me know. This is the stamp on the inside of the fender. I have no clue what brand this is. So maybe it's something cool that I don't know about, but I did not recognize the stamp. So if you got anything, let me know in the comments section. Much appreciated. Thank you. So to get the process started, you can see I actually sanded down all the black paints. It had lots of like clear coat flaking, and it had been spray painted so many times and whatnot. So basically, I just sanded the entire thing with like 80 grit. Gave it a nice acetone wipe so it'd be nice and clean for the adhesion. Adhesion promotion is very important with this stuff because panel bond is only so good, right? Like the chemical compounds in panel bond are only good enough to bond to something clean, right? So if you have a dirty panel and you're like bonding to dirt and the dirt falls off, that's your bad prep's fault. Okay, so keep that in mind. Just clean everything, sand with 80 grit. covered it all up. And then what I did, I used the entire can. This is something I underestimated completely. I used this entire tube on this 1/4. So you're going to need 2 of them for something this size, 2 of these ones at least. So first, I went ahead and covered the entire 1/4 on the car. I went ahead and covered the entire surface area of what would be contacting, at least around the edges and up towards the top there. I covered the entire red piece, the overfender, and you want to have all your holes pre-drilled. I did have to go back and drill some more. This has a pretty long set time. I believe it's a 24-hour set time on this panel bond, so just be sure to look into that. If you have extra, maybe do a test or something. But you know, we're out here straight rednecking, so that wasn't really a priority to me. Make sure you got your holes drilled, and I would mark on the 1/4 because these 1/4s have been used before, and I had to redo some of the mounting points. So I actually drew little semicircles around the holes that I was going to be using, because as I did mention, I welded through some of the ones on the chassis. So I just circled them with a Sharpie on the 1/4 panel so I knew exactly where my rivets were going. Now, this may not apply enough pressure, so pushing down on the 1/4, if you could find something to maybe like lean on it, tape it down really well, ratchet strap something to keep it suction form to the vehicle, that'd be absolutely ideal. You'd get a very strong adhesion that way. So to make a long story short, basically you're going to lather up both ends with the panel bond. You're going to go ahead and rivet it in once it's on the chassis, and from there you can see I'm running this fat old bead around the outside. This is kind of like what you see with RWB or you know, Nakai Sand, something like that. Obviously people way out of my pay grade or experience level, but I'd like to think I'm up there with the greats. You know, we've got all these legends, and then we got some redneck 18-year-old with red hair. You know, what kind of combo is that? You know, you look at Magnus Walker, like the urban outlaw. Nah, dude, I'm coming up for him, you know what I mean? So the thought process with running this bead around the outside is to just keep the body filler safe, okay? The absolute worst case scenario would be water coming up through the 1/4 panel, somehow making it past all that panel bond we laid down, and then getting inside of the body filler from the bottom. Okay, then it would sit in there. It may eventually start to rust. Your body filler will crack off. Your paint's ruined. Everything looks terrible. You're running a little SEMA caulk around the outside to keep your body filler protected. This isn't something you would notice until, you know, years down the line, or depending on where you live, I guess. But if you drive in the rain and stuff, definitely a good idea to seal what you can off. And honestly, this can of seam sealer was running on empty, so I only had a little bit left, and I figured, like, you can't store this stuff, you might as well put on what you can. So I basically just went back and threw this stuff everywhere. It is kind of a mess. Definitely tape off your trim, to, like, pull headlights and taillights out if you could. I didn't have the taillights out at this point, but it probably would have helped a little bit. Now, I do want to mention the antenna hole. So the driver's side of the 240 does have an antenna hole in the rear 1/4, and I did actually go ahead and weld that up. So I cut out a little blank with the hole saw. I used a magnet to hold it from the bottom, and I went ahead and welded it. That piece absolutely, it was beautiful, dude. Like, I could grind it down, it would look OEM. Very happy with how that came out. I guess I just got lucky, because usually my welding projects turn out like crap, but pretty proud of that one. And, as you saw, the seam sealer was fully covering around my weld, so I sprayed down primer and paint on top of the raw metal. That is important to note. You want to paint all raw metal. So the super stressful part is out of the way. Once you get it on the body, it is just a feeling of anxiety just gone. But the thing is you don't know if you did a good job or not until it's too late. So if you were to have to take this off, I can only imagine the leaps and bounds you'd have to go through to try and get this off of the body at this point, based on how stuck on it is. So keep in mind, this kit had a very wide lip. I'd say it was probably about 5 to 7 mils of just excess. So when you're bolting it on, that's, you know, it's not the cleanest look. I feel like most people would shave it down a little bit. I shaved it all the way down, so this was the most contact patch physically possible. Okay, now you'll see in the next episode when I get my wheels, which I do have wheels now, so stay tuned on the channel, subscribe, like, and you know, all that stuff. To get the wheels on, they are so big with so much tire. I had to shave the inside lip down on the wheel well to like literally paper thin. Okay, and I can still pull on it and the whole car will shake. These things are very well attached to the vehicle. Now that I'm editing this video months in the future and I have driven the car and I have experience and live with these fenders, I can tell you this method works very well. And although this product may be from Lowe's, the contact adhesive, I'd say it's definitely much more economical than the $150 you'd pay for the 3M product. So that's the alternative, is the 3M, like, I think it's a 90 something dollars, but then you have to buy their specialty gun, which has like a dual feed, like epoxy style feed. I don't know, it's expensive. So I would recommend just this Culk contact adhesive, but do your research. Don't trust me. So once the kit is on the vehicle, you're obviously going to have to go down, clean up all the excess seam sealer that you will inevitably get everywhere. So that does make kind of a mess. So you're going to go take a razor blade, clean it up. From there, you're going to start cleaning, once again, like acetone, sand, and you're going to want to start laying the kitty hair down. You know, you'll see in future videos, once the car is actually like primed, how the process turns. So even though we're months in the future from when I recorded this video, the car is still not primed. The kit is not 100% molded because I do have to pop out those rear quarter windows. So the quarter windows have to come out for me to get filler in there and clean that up. But for the most part, it's coming together. So there's no doubt in my mind that there's going to be some critic in the comment section telling me what I did wrong, and more power to you. Go for it, man. Like, they're already on the car. I don't know what you want me to do. Rip them off, take the video down, whatever you internet trolls think. So here's the deal. Obviously, it's not done yet. You saw in this last clip, this is the most recent clip. If you stay to the end, you get a sneak peek at the wheels. Bada bing, bada boom. Obviously, it's not done yet. I'm not going to be done with this. I'm always going to be tinkering with it up until I get primer on it. It seems like every single week I'm out there like noticing something new and putting a little here and there, putty, filler, this, that. So I still have kitty hair left. As I mentioned, I have to pull the quarter windows out to get inside the jam. I'm not going like all the way in the jam, but you know, I don't want to ruin my trim getting body filler on them. And I have to take the windows out to paint the car anyways. But I may have a lead on another car that I may try and flip, and I'm looking at that one next week. So it's currently October 9th. We may have another S chassis coming. So yeah, I mean, life's crazy. I would definitely recommend trying this. The biggest thing after 10 months of ownership now on this car, 9-10 months, is be ambitious. And like, as my first project car, I've worked on cars, but it wasn't my vision. Set a vision and strive to achieve it. Don't just like, that looks hard, and then wimp out, or don't come up with some excuse about how you don't have money or something. I've spent money on body filler, rivets, and caulk here, and I've completely changed the rear end of the vehicle. Set some goals and strive to achieve them, and if you fail, get up and try something new, change your strategy, and get the job done. That's the perseverance aspect I really enjoy about this car. Is, you know what, I set the car on fire twice. What do? I turn it into a race car. I just gut the interior and call it a day? No. I took everything out. I did it the right way. It was a complete pain in the butt. I sacrificed a lot. I didn't see my friends for like a full month because I was sitting there in the July heat in my garage cooking, removing everything from the vehicle. But, you know, great experiences, and you live and you learn is the moral of the story here. So thank you for watching the video. As you see, we've got the wheels, got the wing, Koki front end is on the car right now, so these videos are going to start turning out. This is the PCU for my computer that decided to commit suicides. Now that I've replaced that, which was quite a learning experience in itself, I guess it's the moral of the story, you live and you learn. We just hit 15K today on October 9th. 2020. We're 7 years in the making, so that was pretty cool, but ultimately 99% of those subscribers are inactive, but it is what it is. Find that pretty funny. So follow me on Instagram because I post basically every day sneak peeks. I've been working on headlights, Koki front end, hoods, carbon fiber, all that stuff. So follow me on Instagram. And see you in the next video, another like 6 months or so.